Okay, welcome to another Real Talk Forum presented by Afro-Asiatic. And we're gonna go in again tonight. What is this? April 7th, I believe?
It's the 7th, yes.
The 7th?
Mm-hmm.
And so what's going on, Philin? How you feeling?
Been all right, man. Been all right. You know, I had a little Kazagimi 4 days ago, but it went away.
Okay, hold on. Kazagimi, I think I said that in the last video. What's that mean?
Yeah. You know, them almost symptom lights. Like, am I catching a cold? So my throat got a little sore, and then it just went away. So I guess I'm straight.
Okay, so you sure you ain't got the corona, man? You sure, man?
Man, I mean, what can you do even if you do have it? You know.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You know, I just came out of an appointment I had, and during the appointment, my stomach felt kind of queasy, and I walked back. And when I was getting back, I'm like, yo, I'm kind of sweating. I'm getting kind of hot. Do I have a fever? You know, do I have a fever? And and this was less than an hour ago. So if y'all see me starting to, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make light of it. You know, we're not trying to, you know, people are actually having a lot of problems. There are even deaths. So we're not trying to make light of this. But at the same time, we have to be realistic about it. And the worst thing you can do is panic. Because remember, fear and stress, those are two of the main components that lower your immune system. You know, the ability to fight any kind of virus. So yeah, we're living in it.
Right, and it is the season. Yeah.
Yeah, you got pollen going on over here.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm feeling I'm believing that I'm okay. But I forgot last week. You know, I teach the standardized testing, and it's a lot of high school students. Oh, my high school also got postponed. I think I posted, some people asked me, it got postponed for a month, but where I live, the prefecture, none of the high schools are going to open this April. But anyway, another student in a standardized testing, she came up to me after the lesson and was like, you know, Sensei, you know, she was concerned about me, and she was like, maybe you should wear a mask. You know, maybe you should wear a mask. And and for I was just like, you know, getting ready to it's cool. But I looked at her and I could see she was like looking at me with some imploring eyes, like no, you know, I'm worried about you. And so I didn't get to tell her, but I told some other students later. And I said, well, you know, I do a lot. Not a lot, but I do some research. I try to keep up on what's going on, and I don't really feel that putting a mask is gonna really help me. If I go into a train where it's crowded, that's where everyone is kind of, you know, they want you to wear a mask because it makes everyone else feel comfortable.
Right, it's a social courtesy.
Right, I'll do it in that case. But I told these students, I said, well, if you understand that it's an airborne, according to what you believe, the TV told you that people breathe coming from your throat, secretions and all this. And I said, so if you have the mask on, you can still get it, but if you have yourself, if you yourself have corona, it might protect other people. So I said, if you all are really worried about me, keep your mask on. Now, since all of you have your mask on, I'm safe. I was like, and they thought that was funny. They thought that was
how you flipped it on.
Yeah, I flipped on, you know. But, you know, like you said, social courtesy, I'll do it. But other than that, I don't really think that the mask thing is the difference between getting corona and not.
Well, dealing with average citizens is more like, are you scared or not? And you're like, no, I'm not scared, but I mean, I'm careful. And they want you to be scared too. And you're like, all right, look, I'm not scared, man. You know?
Yeah,
I said, what are you gonna do in the end?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's almost like that empathy or you know, they want you to like the commiseration, like, you know, let's say, oh yeah, it's kind of bad, and they kind of want you to do that with them. And I was like, you know, like I said, I don't make fun, I don't make light. You don't know who you're talking to. Someone, they might have in their family having complications. So I'm not trying to make light, but I'm very, very sure to leave an air of confidence. And I even told the kids, I said, well, I'm not wearing a mask. And I said, I'm not saying I think I'm tough or I'm immune somehow. That's not what I'm saying. I said,
right.
And I said, so if I die, I guess you'll know I'm wrong. I was wrong.
Right. Me too. Yep. It's like,
but I mean,
it's like, I'm not trying to say who's right or who's wrong here. Is literally like, what is fear going to get you?
Yeah, it's going to lower your immune system.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to do.
That's all it's going to do. Yeah.
All right. So same condition, nothing's really changed as far as what I'm seeing here in Nagoya.
Yep. It's all around the board. Yeah, Osaka all the way there, right?
Yeah. Let's get on to tonight's topic, man.
Nice topic. Yeah.
What's going on tonight?
We are doing relationships in Japan.
Relationships.
Yeah. And what your view is on relationships after being here for so long. What kind of relationships you have, or what kind of relationships you think are good or bad.
Okay, so you're not necessarily rabu rabu koibito no koto, just it could be any kind of relationship.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And connected to what we know, Yeah.
Well, I can say one thing very quickly. On most relationships, you will have more to say, ironically, for the people watching, being that supposedly I'm the one of Japanese descent, but I didn't really, I never really made relationships with people when I was small here, as opposed when I met you were still kind of a kid. You were still in school. Yeah. And I was like, you have real friends. Like I remember you told me a story about, some Japanese dudes, they really, helped you do some things. I'm not gonna put your business out there. You can say whatever you want, but nothing embarrassing. But and I was like, wow, because I find that making friends, honest friends in Japan is very, very difficult. You have, like, you remember, because Japanese, they even have different designations in Japan, like Shiriai, Otomodachi Eugene. It's like they're a little bit different. Yeah. And so you, like, for example, a person at work, you can get really, really cool with them, but a lot of people will never call them their friend. You know what I'm saying? It could be, a friend, when Japanese say, is like, this is somebody they was going to preschool together. Or something like that.
Right.
They have all kind of relationships, and the Japanese take relationships very seriously. So they're very serious about before they'll. And like some people, and this is a good thing, like for Black people here, and this is what we were talking about. If any time is a good time for Black people to come together, it would be in a time like a crisis, because if everything was to shut down, how many Japanese people here are really going to cape for you? Do you really have now? Then you're going to find that if you really have a relationship. And then I ask a lot of people who say, I have a lot of friends, how many times you've been to their house? And when I say their house, if they're young, I'm talking about their parents' house. If you ain't never been to their parents' house, you ain't their friend. 9 times out of 10. I don't know. There's different circumstances. They might be from Fukuoka and you are from Tokyo. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But the home for Japanese people, Japanese people who've known each other for 20 years and they've never been to each other's homes before. Like, I know they live over here by this supermarket, but you never been there? I thought y'all were real tight, But that's just the way the culture rolls here, So
right.
So I think the different levels.
Yeah, there are different levels. There's different levels, and it's what you're coming here for. But for people who live here, and the easier, the better relationships you have with the people around you, the easier it is to live, wherever you are. And coming to Japan, I see a lot of guys who've been here for more than 10 years or so, and you can see the stress on their face, because of just what you said there. They don't have, they say this friend of theirs or this friend of theirs, and they really only hang out with them because they're both foreigners that work at the same school. and they can't get in Japanese circles to that level, like you said. And when they're young, it doesn't matter. You're just so enamored with the country, and it's just so on a surface level, that is just fun. But when you get older and you're actually trying to, deal with Japanese people to that, if you don't, I don't want to say bend to their culture, but you don't give it the proper respect that they expect. They expect you to follow the rules. And I'm not talking about law. I'm talking about the whole system, and following the system's rules is you're a foreigner and we're not,
So as I said in my article, the Yamato Code, you're talking about following their code. And their code,
yeah.
They have a place for you that's called Gaijin or gaikokujin, but it's not Japanese. And Gaijin gaikokujin, as we talked about in the last video, are two different slots. But they both are still not Japanese. And so how are you going to deal with that? And this is a really, really good topic right now, because and this is not just black people, white people and black people. I can name several who are over here. They marry a Japanese person, and their kids are growing up bilingual. They're straddling two races, but they're essentially Japanese because they're going to school here. They look different, but they're still Japanese by and by. And I try to tell these people, especially when it's boys, I deal mostly with boys. The boys, they don't respect the father because the father is not getting respect from the culture, and the boy can see that. Boys, they seek power. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I got to do to get power? Wait a minute. Nobody seems to be respecting my father. They treating him kind of like a gaijin. You know what I'm saying? And then the boy starts treating the father like that too. The worst thing is that I had to tell one dude, listen, man, don't, I don't want to have to spank your son out here. It's like, so keep him over there because it's not my business. And I don't want to overstand my bounds, but I'm not going to have him talk. I mean, he didn't do anything to disrespect me. I mean, but he's talking about, like I'm coming to, yo man, Josh, he's right upstairs, calling him by his first. Yeah, he over there. What you doing? Hey, you. Talking to his father like that, and eventually it's going to pass over to me. So I was like, I'm just not going to address this boy. And I told him about it, but he don't want to listen. All right. But I mean, he's one example. I can say most of the people I know. Matter of fact, if I went the other way, it would be difficult for me to find situations where the boy does respect the father who's a foreigner.
To the point where the boy will not even say Otosan, he'll just call him by his first name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when I almost said the guy's name, but let's just say.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
The guy's name is Mark. Yep. And I went to his house, and he's like, Mark's upstairs. Like, hey, what's going on? Hey, Mark's upstairs. He's talking, and so because he doesn't respect his father, he's not going to respect me. He think you just as corny as him. Right. And so I had to draw the line. Nah, because you're not gonna come and dress me like that. That's, I'm not here to ease up and be your dad and discipline you. You know what I'm saying? So I had to tell Mark, listen, man, your son doesn't. I explained the whole thing to him, and I said, if you're not gonna do anything, that's your business. But please keep your son away from me. But we were doing business. We had a business to do. So I wasn't there. We weren't friends. I was there to do some business. Let's just do this, and you keep your son. When your son come in the room, I'm gonna walk away. And y'all two can talk to each other in your disrespectful tones, But I find this to be
Does that have to do with because he's been in Japan for so long?
It has to do with what we've been talking about, the beta thing. These guys are betas, and a lot of them, they're trying to escape where they came from, and they step into this role. The role of a gaijin is the role of a fool. In one way or another. Gaikokujin is a half step up, and you can have some sort of respect there, but you got to remember, if you're talking about a boy growing up in society, the boy is looking for power. and he's seeing who has the power and who doesn't have the power, and then why. And the first thing they're going to notice is, they're going to look at their own father. You're going to look at your father, and you're going to see how people are treating your father. This it also, applies in America. Or Canada, or anywhere Black people are being, discriminated against, which
anywhere around the world,
everywhere, right? But it's just different. How does each man handle that? But so we're talking about the particular way it happens in Japan. It's a little bit different, you know what I mean? And but I tell these guys that, and at the time, I mean, I can talk about a couple different guys. I didn't realize this trend of betas. So I give people, I just assume that you a man. You got a kid, you have a wife, I'm assuming you a man. So I'm talking to them, and everybody there, they don't want to hear this. And I'm like, okay, and then now that, and hence that's why I guess I felt the need, or we felt the need really to come out with that tape, betas. And once I realized it wasn't just Japan, it was a worldwide phenomenon, going on right now.
Right.
But it takes its own
we got a
special thing in Japan.
Right, it takes its own form in Japan. It's wrapped up beautifully, and it looks pretty from the outside. And it's, again, that's where we fell off the last time with the exoticism. I'm still saying that word wrong, but you get caught up, and I'm sure I haven't really lived in any other country but Japan. I've been to other countries, but I've only lived really in Japan. But I can guarantee whatever country you go to that's completely opposite yours, that alone, years of just getting caught up in just how different it is. And you get a chance to forget. So I give everybody a pass. Like I was like that, like you said, I was a kid when I came here, But that's why when people hear, they'll ask, why did you come to Japan? And you don't really want to answer because I don't feel like lying, I got to tell the truth. And when I tell the truth, I'm like, I really didn't come here to get to know Japanese people or get with your women, It's my connection is stable, my bad. But I came here because it was just a way out from where I was at.
You were leaving somewhere more than going somewhere. I'm just leaving.
Right.
Yeah. Let me try this place.
And it could have been anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. It could have been anywhere. Yeah.
I feel you.
And what I will say at Japan is, even when you come over here, beta, or you just don't know what you're doing, you young, you dumb. At the beginning, even with the Gaijin shit, they did treat you with a level of respect that you don't really get in the States as a Black man.
Yeah.
So it just shocks you, and that makes you can take it from women through men, whatever it is. They treat you like a white person, really. You're like, damn, and they treat white people like that too. So the Gaijin thing, you're not even thinking about that. It's very hard to even tell really new people who come to Japan, new foreigners, that the Gaijin thing is not cool, but they're just so enamored right now. But over time, over years and years, if that's the level you stay at, that's the stress, because they're still going to treat you like that 10 years down the line.
Just like you got here yesterday.
Like you're new, Yeah, and the people I consider my friends in Japan, I guess when you said I make true relationships, are people who get, I may not be Japanese, but I ain't new. And as long as you don't treat me like I'm new, you just treat me, they're like, okay, so what? Like Americans, like, don't do that neither. They're like, okay, then what should I treat you as? I'm like, treat me as Sterling, motherfucker. Treat me as Sterling. You know what I'm saying? As an adult.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I definitely play the two race thing on people. Like tonight, I met a young lady, and I don't let them do it to me. Like, she's like, she started saying American. I'm like, well, why are you talking about America? And I was like, nah, I'm not American. And she's like, no, you're not American? And I'm like, no. Oh, you're Japanese? Well, yeah, well. And I'm just real, like, I don't answer the question. But the reason, of course I'm American in terms, if I'm talking, but see, when Japanese say American, they mean white person. They mean, you're not a white American person. That's because that's the only thing they know. You know what I'm saying? So what they want to know is kokuseki. They want to know, well, what's your citizenship? And I never answer the question. And I let them think it might be Japan, it might be America, it could be hey, you know what I'm saying? You know, I've lived in all these countries, and I just leave it because it makes them look at me and judge my character instead of asking me a bunch of stupid questions about hot dogs and hamburgers and all these other things. They're missing the fact that you don't see no Americans that you know with anything on their head like this, my color, you know, come on, like, you know, they're missing all of that once they put you in that box. So if they don't put you in a box, it makes Japanese very, very uncomfortable. You can actually break relationships because of this, because they really don't know what to do. They're lost. Yeah. You know, but it's the chance I take in order to build something that's real, something that's going to be lasting. Because if you're phoning that phone anyway, I'm good. I need to filter you up out of here. You're wasting my time. I'm wasting your time. Let's move on. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I mean that in all relationships.
It clears the dead wood out. Yeah, I'm not here to make friends, but truthfully, where I came from, I wasn't there to make friends neither. You know what I'm saying? Like, the friends will come and people come and they go. But again, the reason why Japan was so cool to me was the amount of respect I felt I got. And once I got a taste of that,
what kind of respect? Talk about that a little bit more. As opposed to in the United States, you're talking about, yes?
Right. Yes. As opposed to you're in the United States. You know, you come over here. Now this is years ago now compared to before let's just say that, I mean, the internet was around and all that shit, but there was no iPhones or none of that yet. We were still on gaikokujin, which is flip phones. So back then it was still like, wow, there's this guy coming over, had an afro then, you know, like, man, who is he, you know? And they take you places, they pay for everything, they treat you like a guest, you know, and introduce you to girls, all that shit. And the cool thing. Okay,
so it's really, so that right there is not actually respect, right? But you could actually think it's respect because you're getting positive attention, positive vibrations, right? So are you
right? Yeah. Right.
Okay, I just want to so people understand what exactly what you're talking about. It's almost like a rock star thing.
That's on the surface level.
Yeah, it's on the very surface level. Hey. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
with no if you go to other countries, like if you went to like Mexico and they started treating you like that, you'd be like, well, what are you trying to do? You know, like what's about to happen? You know, there's no underhanded, none of that. It's just what they do, you know. And then you stay here for a while, and then once that initial wave goes away, and you've been here for a while, just off of that, you start to see they still do that with you. You know, hey, so when are you going back? How long have you been here? And they start asking you the same questions. You're like, yo, I've known you for like 3-4 years. You know, like, why are you still asking me that? And then you start to notice how strange it is, you know. But the people you say, look, I don't want to talk about. Now, I think this is where the change is for me. I think most people who stayed here as long as I have or longer, and have a wife, a kid, you know, I've been here for a long time, they're still getting treated at what I just mentioned then. They're still getting that treatment. And within 3 years for me, once I started picking up the language, I was still learning the language, you know, I didn't know the culture. I was a foreigner, you know. Once 3 years passed, and I could really see who my friends were going to be and who weren't, because once you start telling them truthfully, I don't want to talk about that anymore. You know, if we do talk about that, where you're from and how long can I touch your hair and all that other shit, we're not going to be friends anymore. And some people get it and some people don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And the ones who don't get it can go back to doing whatever they're doing. And the people who do get it, actually, they treat you almost like family. Like you said, they take you to your house, take you out. When they got family problems, they call you for advice. You know what I'm saying?
You become a real person as opposed to in that foreigner box.
Right. Mm-hmm. With the people who are culturally completely different than you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Right.
just last night, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you can't expect any other culture to completely understand your situation. You don't want to do that because you'll end up, you know, offending them, really. You know.
Yeah. I was talking to that. There's a young guy. I'm just gonna call him the Aomori kid, because he'll know who I'm talking about. And
Okay.
and he's explaining a whole lot of gaijin stuff. And this guy, he works in the school, and I said, I was like, nah, because because I know he's thinking because I'm of Japanese descent, I might be able to avoid. No, I'm like, no. I'm like, Soren doesn't look any less, and he doesn't look more Japanese than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not it. It's like, and like I said, people just, no matter, you can keep on saying it to them, and they just don't get it. When I talk about, language ability is important, but it's a vibration. There's a certain, it has to get to a point where they can see you. You know what I'm saying? They can see you. They stop seeing just a foreigner. You know what I mean? And they start asking questions that pertain to you based on, you know what I'm saying, something you told them before about you. Has nothing to do with me or some other black person, especially not another white person or some other non-Japanese person that's not even of your phenotype. But he was different. He wasn't getting it. I'm like, no. If you ain't a joke, you know what I'm saying, you'll get it. But let's talk about some of the things. Like let's get in detail about some of the, I don't know, characteristics that a person has to have, or what you're looking for, what kind of characteristics you're looking for in order to have a real relationship with someone in Japan, as opposed to them just treating you like the foreigner.
Okay. Yeah. Some of the characteristics of a Japanese person like that. We talking about men, women, or both?
Well, I think, like I said, I think it's kind of open, or not even the person, but I mean in the relationship. Like if I'm looking at a relationship between a foreigner and a Japanese person, I pretty much can tell really quickly if these people, he's just treating them, he just bringing along. He got a gaijin on a leash, say, hey, everybody, look at my gaijin friend, as opposed to somebody that they're just actually friends and they just happen to be of different races. You feel me? So there's different characteristics that go into that, and I said, and I think the key word is going to be respect. Not talking about
okay.
It's gonna
okay. So one of the characteristics is the level of Japanese they use with you, because even if I've seen people who've come here, like they come back and forth to Japan, and they'll come to Japan and then they'll leave again, and like they'll have like a company or some kind of connection to Japan where they have to constantly come back and forth. And the Japanese businessmen that talk to him will still speak to him in just straight Japanese, even though he doesn't understand any Japanese at all. They're not going to do any hello, thank you. So they're not doing any of that. It's like, oh, konnichiwa. They'll just say it, and there better be a translator there. But they treat him with that level of respect.
Right.
So this whole, they're only speaking to you in English because you don't know Japanese. That might be sometimes the reason, but most of the reason is they're not really, the level of respect for you is still not high enough.
Right. And that also goes to what they're talking about. They're just coming over to play with you. Saying like, hey, here's the frisbee. Let's toss it and you chase it in the park. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. I definitely, because in case in point is when there's something important, like walk your ass into the bank and think they're gonna come up and speak no English. You better understand. And if you sign this thing, you know what I'm saying? Because there ain't gonna be that ain't gonna hold up in law, my man. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna speak to you in the most formal Japanese, because Keigo, because I didn't really hear Keigo when I was in the States. I remember I was like, what is this new language? you know, I was definitely shook. I was like, whenever it started speaking Keigo, I'm oh, it's mad long. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I still don't speak it well, but you know, you start getting used to it. If you're doing any kind of business negotiation, it's a must. You know? So yeah, that's definitely true. But when you go to other places, you know, you can tell. You know, I think another aspect that I realize, and because I write about Japan so much, is the enormous amount of stress that the average Japanese person has that person from the West might not be able to understand fully. Because you get it. Everybody has stress from their family, from their job, and everything. But in Japan, it never goes away. It's kind of like the humidity in the summertime. You know, it's like if you from a humid place, maybe outside of Florida.
That's good, man.
Right? Yeah, it's humid in July and August, but at nighttime you get a little respite. Oh man, it's a nice breeze tonight. But not in Japan. Japan from June to September to like October damn near.
Yeah,
you are in it. You know what I'm saying? It 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. You're like, God damn, like what? It's hotter now. You know, and I think that's actually probably a good metaphor. It just never goes away. So when they see a foreigner sometimes, they're like, I can just leave this shit here and just act like a fool. And it's okay. It's condoned by the society. It's one of the 3 things they're allowed to act like a fool. And if the people see him acting like a fool, they'll understand. Because you with the Gaijin, you over there. You know, so if they're counting on, and then you're like, nah, ain't me, nigga, you better get away from me. They're like, they gotta hold their breath all over again, and they'll get angry at you. You know, have you ever experienced something like that?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you're looked at as the vent, and they see you as fun, and you can use that to your advantage. You definitely can. You know, but there's a time and place for it. You know what I'm saying? Because you make a profession out of your funness, and the only other, I mean, that's what a clown is, right? I mean, he makes his profession the fun thing. Hey, look at me, and he plays along with it, and everybody kind of points and laughs and has fun with him. You know, so there's you definitely. There's a slippery slope between being fun and being entertaining and then being a clown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just straight coon. You know what I'm saying? Coon, clown, whatever. You can take out the O out of L.
And I explained that last night to a homeboy. I was listening, man. I'm a teacher. Trust me. There's students laugh in my class a lot. You know, whenever I'm teaching. But I was like, there's a difference between being laughed at and laughed with. They're laughing because I'm telling jokes. You know what I'm saying? And whether I'm funny for real or not, they're laughing sincerely. The class is having a good time more than, I'm not saying I'm some stand-up comedian. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you up there, you a joke. If you a clown, they're laughing at you.
Right.
So, and that's anywhere. That's not just in Japan. That's anywhere. Like again, coming back to that
word. You definitely got it. Yeah, you definitely got it. Yep. Coming back to that word respect. Yep. And if from that point, because they all act basically, the same vibe. They purposely try to all act or be on the same vibe. If one of them treating you like that, or like let's just say your immediate circle, the majority are treating you like that. That means everybody gonna treat you like that, including your family, including your wife, including your kid. And if I keep hanging around you, they're gonna treat me like that.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Treat you like that. So get into that. Like what's a characteristic? Something like what? Treat you like what?
Okay. Like let's just say, like for example, the English thing again. If your family is Japanese, if you have a Japanese wife, let's say you have a Japanese wife and a kid with her, and they're speaking to you in English all the time. They're speaking to each other in Japanese. Everybody else is speaking Japanese. They're speaking to you in English. You invite me over to your house, and they start speaking to me in English just because of you. I'm like, nah, ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta make sure, like you talk to him and all that. You ain't talking to me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
my students they get mad because we're speaking. Even if I'm teaching English, like I always follow the custom of, bowing before and after the class. And a lot of them think, well, it's not, you're not a Japanese teacher, we don't really have to do that. And I don't force them to do it, but they don't even realize the mind control that's involved in that. I'm imitating, or if you think it's imitation, even if you think it's imitation, it's something that is registering in your subconscious to let you know when the class begins and ends. You know what I'm saying? And after I do that, at the end, if they come up and talk to me in English, I'll just ignore them. And they're like, and I just walk right past them, like, especially if they're like, bye, because they'll speak to each other in Japanese and then turn around and bye bye, or say something in English.
Right.
And I
throw something at you, yeah.
And and it's funny, I've done it for so long now. I'm not even I'm not ignoring them anymore. I really don't think they're talking to me. I'm like, you're just speaking out, speaking out into the air, and and it's funny because how fast they get it. They'll do it a couple times. They're like, is he ignoring me? You can tell that some of them do it, and then they look back at me like, he just turned around. He didn't even look at me. No.
Yeah, they'll say it frustrated too.
Yeah, and they don't like to be embarrassed. They don't like to be embarrassed. Japanese don't like to be showing up. So the one thing you can do if you want to get someone's attention is just don't do what's expected. You just don't do what they expect you to do. Oh my God, because they have a set pattern of everything you're going to do. And the more of those things you don't do, that's what sets you apart from being a gaijin. Well, gaijin, gaijin, you don't do that, so what we going to call you?
Yeah. Yep. It's not a because that's the other thing. You don't have to be this perfect Japanese. You don't have to be so good in Japanese and so perfect in everything, because that's how they'll try to come at you as well. Or how you make one mistake and they're like, okay, now I can just start treating you like a foreigner again. You're like, look, is like a Japanese mistake or something like that, and you're like, well, what does that got to do with anything? What does that have to do with the way you treat me? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyway, that's one of them. That's one of the characteristics that I was thinking. What other ones are you thinking about?
Well, things right along those lines. Anything that has to do with that. If you don't ever, I think what it is, and you don't want to be set apart in a strange way, because Japanese, a lot of times they want to, like, it's hard, like, it's almost like the inmate at a jail. And I hate to say it like this, you think of an inmate in a prison. If you just walked in his cell and just, I'm gonna put this picture up, they would fight you tooth and nail, because this is all they have. This is their cell. This is this is the only thing that they own. You know what I'm saying? Or they feel like they have some power over. And if you just can't come in there and just do, you would think, why would he get so angry just because the guard wanted him to take that down or wanted to do something, because you don't understand how important it is to him. Does that make sense?
You're talking about their culture. What is that? What is the picture representing?
Okay, the picture is representing being Japanese. I'm sorry, the cell.
Okay, yeah.
The cell is like Japanese.
Cell, okay.
They're so constrained in their lifestyle that one of the things that they really, really feel like they have is, I'm Japanese, and if not better, but they're saying Senshikoku, a developed country, we're a rich country, and I'm proud of that. You know what I'm saying? And they really live on that. And I'm not saying that's bullshit. Like the difference is, like, as you know, in Japan, you can be a factory worker, and when you're out on the town, you get, to me, a high modicum of respect as compared to like a factory worker or some kind of civil worker in another country. Oh, you just a trash man? It doesn't even come off like that. You work for the city.
All.
You know what I'm saying? And you get this great service there, and you're given the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? If you know how to behave, if you're exhibiting etiquette, and that goes for non-Japanese too, but right now we're talking about Japanese. So I said all of that to say this, that they really hold that on a high level. So sometimes that's the only thing that they have. They feel so when they're dealing with you, and you know what I'm saying? They're like, wait, you're the foreigner. They want to establish that I'm Japanese. and you're a foreigner, and they'll go to the extra, like, is that why?
They will go all out. Yeah.
You know,
it's not even like they're going all out. Like sometimes it's like they just can't. Their brain just can't even see you. Like they're just like, I'm not getting it. What are you trying to, you know? And that's part of the reason why a lot of people got to get cut. Like you gotta just cut them loose, because it's like you're never gonna see it. You've just been conditioned so long. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been institutionalized.
Their whole life is invested in this. We call it, and see, like the J.S.P.E.X. We have an
J.S.P.E.X is like that.
Called J.S.P.E.X. It's J.S.P.E.X. So Japanese self-proclaimed English experts. Say it one more time. Japanese self-proclaimed English experts. These Japanese people, and the worst part about it is some of them aren't even good at English. Now, if you studied and put the time in and you've gone overseas and you've done years and you come, I could kind of see. But you got some dudes, they ain't been nowhere. They going to speak broken English, and they want to do this performance, this play in front of all these other Japanese people with you. They just choose you. You don't even know this guy. When they come, hey, and want to start practicing and showing, look, y'all can't do this. Look, watch this English demonstration real quick. And they just going, like, it's like being selected out the audience. You don't really want to
make an example.
Come on, cuz, man, get them out of here, you know. So especially when you're dealing with those, that's the extreme side of the game. That's not everyone, but it's enough. You know, I can tell numerous stories about these people. And actually,
because of the friends that they have, them guys that they hang around, all them beta as, you know, Gaijin cats who allow him to do that. He feels like he's in the authoritative position. He's like, well, that's just how all y'all are. Like, what are you talking about, Sterling? Like, I treat people wrong. Like I got plenty foreign friends. Like, I'm sure you do.
Some of them, I mean, they've invested their life in this. Like, you know, if you go into the, you know, what happened during the Reconstruction after World War II, you'll know that like the Emperor Showa, people call Hirohito, like he designated like women, you know, comfort women, because they got these guys to come in here, they got to have sex with somebody, and they actually rounded up women and you know, made them prostitutes basically. And it also goes with, there are certain Japanese people who devoted their life, like, you know, because they needed a buffer. They're like, we can't just let these guys just come all in and be dealing with the real Japanese people, so they have buffers. And this has to do with the class system. It's very, very obscure now, but I've met Japanese, like the manager, and I was in a hip hop group. We probably need to let these people know, you know, the time and grade we have in this country, but I was in a hip hop group here in Japan. We were pretty popular. That's where Afro-Asiatic comes from, the logo and everything. Shout out to my brother James over in Chi-Town. Hope you're holding it down during this Corona thing. And I think his wife actually might have some Corona-related activity. So, you know, big, you know, shout out to her.
Corona-related activity?
Yeah, I think. I don't want to. I think that's what he told me. Yeah. But I know she was sick. I'm not really sure if it was Corona-related, but she definitely fell ill recently.
Oh, she's all right. Yeah.
Shout out to him. But our manager, you know, his family, they had an English school, and then his father also had an English school, and it was all the way like and that's how he was very, very connected in Hamamatsu City where we were, and we ended up like he hooked it up. He got us a press conference with the mayor, and we actually made a little bit of paper and did some things. It was a lot of fun, great experience. But during the time, I remember another brother came and wrote a book and was talking about how they were cheating the foreigners, and they had a real sketchy business. I don't know if it was true or not. I just know that the book was written. I can't remember the name of it. I met this brother on a humbug. But when I questioned the dude, our manager, he called himself George. When I questioned him, you know, he was real scared. And he was like, where's it at? And I was like, oh, you look like you guilty, my man. But I said all that to say this. His son his son, I think Jordan had a white wife from the States. And his son was he used to DJ for us a little bit. He really couldn't DJ, but we used to, trying to, let everybody participate a little something. And so he's mixed the same way I'm mixed, basically. But he used to like really, really diss me when it came time to trying to speak Japanese. And that's the whole reason why we really I don't even deal with them cats this day, because they were like, because their whole thing was, our family is invested in this English thing. So they're the English, the Gaijin experts. Like if you know what I mean, in Hamamatsu, which is a small town, if you need a guy, you come to me. I know everybody. So I figured it out. That's who he was. That's who he was. So they had to establish that barrier between. Because I was already, in the town. I had just came to the States at the time. I wasn't speaking that much Japanese back then, and they were okay. No, you over there, And it was funny. I'm like, well, wait a minute, your son, and he's saying, well, and I was like, oh, but because everything is imaginary. The whole thing is imaginary if you really think of it. If you buy into this shit, then you'll be a Gaijin for life. Like we know cats from here 30, I know cats from here 30, 40 years, still don't speak no Japanese, and the main reason is they just been told they're not supposed to.
Right.
They still bumbling around here.
Right. Right.
And
still talking about Japanese like we're still on the outside, but they don't get nothing to that. I'm like, no. You on the outside. You on the outside.
Nope.
And then this ain't no token shit neither. Let's not get that. By the way, I thought about it. I was like, beta cats be real competitive and be trying to compete with each other all the time. Yeah. And so you would usually connect competitiveness to like alpha, but not in a healthy way. We're talking like that's where tokenism come from. You know what I'm saying? I'm down to see anybody rise up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to say I'm on the inside and we're different because I'm in and you're out. It's like not that at all. It's just you ain't trying to be in.
Yeah, you're talking about hating. That's not even competing. That it is competing, but it's like your healthy competition when you challenge somebody. It's healthy. We're gonna do this. We're both gonna get better in this. Player hating is a different thing. Like I'm secretly voting against you. I'm doing shit to circumvent whatever you're doing on the slide, but I'm smiling at you. That's some beta bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's two different things.
But I don't want. And I don't want people to take it like this is some kind of snobbish or bougie ass shit where I'm like, if you don't know Japanese, then you just can't be in, and that's why I'm in and you're out. It's like, no, like I said before, there's cats who don't speak no English who also command the same respect that a person who could get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's not even that. You refuse to try to get in. You don't want to be in because you don't think you can get in. Like you said, you've accepted your place as a foreigner.
And
play your roles.
And there it is. Your place.
But I'm not. Yeah.
Your place. That's one of the big characteristics. If you're going to be in Japan, your place. Now you're going to, and let's make this clear. This is not something that's reserved for foreigners. Every Japanese person, that's what being Japanese, because their whole thing is that they're like ants, right? They can work collectively. So each person has to learn their place. So if you get into a certain dantai, a certain group, whether it's a company, a school, whatever, it doesn't matter if you're a foreigner or not, you have to have a place. It's the same as your vice principal, or are you the sweeper? It's still a place, and you have to know how to act accordingly. So for me, whenever I've walked into a place, I'm not going to accept the spot that you're trying to give me. But once you step in there, I don't think you can get out of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's important. If you're going to come to
very difficult to get out.
Very hard, difficult to get out. When I came in the first school I went to, and this, they got me a little bit because I didn't know nothing, but I wasn't that dumb. I mean, this school was it was like what do you call it? Co-op, where the students went to school half the day, and then they went to a career job training half the day. And it was like real sparsely populated. I think the school has not since closed down and merged with another school. But man, these kids, it was the highest. It was like almost like 35% foreigners, but like not English speakers, mostly Peruvians, and Brazilians, some Chinese, some Filipinos. But I was the basketball coach, you know. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but when I first got there, they were again trying to put me in my place because I got there and I started playing basketball immediately with these kids. So I got this new popularity. Oh, this cool guy, he's coming, you know. But they was treating me like a foreigner. So we had it was two things, and this is really important. This is in Shizuoka, where I think it's a little bit behind times. But we had one of the teachers came and said, all the new teachers this year are going to put on a performance at a show. Okay, cool. I'm willing to do something. So what are we going to do? And they were okay. We have a part for you. These cats wanted me to do, you know, Ninin Baudi. You know what Ninin Baudi is? You know what Ninin Baudi is. They have these fucking these real corny comedians.
Oh,
right, yeah. Real popular.
Yeah. Some clown shit. Yeah.
But this Ninin Baudi is, they actually have some kind of board, and you stick your head out the board, and then there's
they spray water on you or some shit.
There's another guy behind me, and he puts his hands through the hole, so it looks like it's my arms, but it's not. It's my face and the guy behind me. And first of all, ain't no guy getting up that close on me anyway in the dark. That shit ain't gonna happen. And he puts his arms through there. The whole thing is anyway. Yeah. And I'm supposed to be eating. So there's food on the table, and I'm eating, and he's basically smashing the food on my face.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. They throw food in your face. He's smashing it in your face as the person.
Smashing in my face, yeah. And everybody's watching. So she's explained this to me, and I know what the shit is, but I'm like, what is it? So I'm thinking, is she really asking me to do this shit? And she's asking me straight in my face, like I'm supposed to be like, yeah, hey, that sounds like fun. But then, some of these Hollywood films, there's some of these roles that brothers get. You're gonna get them in and just get shot up. You're gonna get bitch smacked in the face, and then you're gonna get killed. And okay, I'll do it. Yeah. And you're gonna say, hey, I'm a movie, man. Come watch. Anyway. So but when she told me, I'm looking at her. I'm like this woman is out of her mind. But how do I refuse this and save face? I mean, clearly I'm not going to do it, but this is the whole art of saving face. And because you can't just be like, bitch, get out my face. Like, you can do that, but that's what a gaijin would do in their mind. So of course I refused it. You know what I'm saying? And she was shocked, and I was like, oh no, I'm sorry. You know what she said? So in order to refuse it, like I said, not just to be straight up, but I was like, okay, that sounds like a really good idea. Okay, great. Yeah. And I went all the way to the end, and we were getting up to bow to say it was the meeting was over, and I was like, yeah. So, and I forgot. I was like, yeah. And I said, so I think I had so I won't wear my ring that day because I don't want to hit. Who's going to be in front of me? Who's the teacher that's going to be in front of me? And she was like, oh, well, no. And then the bell rang. It was time for class. No, you're going to be behind. Oh, okay. Oh, no, I can't do it then. If I'm behind, I'll do it. But I'm not going to be, but I ain't even trying to do that. I ain't trying to be up on no dude like that. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she was like shocked, so I just walked away. And then, so she comes back, like I think 2 days, they had a meeting. Like, he ain't really get it. So then they come back with plan B. And plan B is worse than plan A. But I guess they think that it's in their mind. The foreigner has to be clown. And they think that you agree with this, And so she comes to me like, okay, well, we changed it. Oh, really? I was ready to do anybody. I'm like, yeah, I was ready to do it. So I was like, I had custard pie. I was gonna bring some foreign food with some whipped cream. She's like, no. I'm with it. Like again, I never outright refuse. I get you to do what I want you to do. Right. That's the art of saving face. That's
a real that's black samurai shit right there.
I'm where I'm not where you. I'm ahead of you. So so she said, here's plan B. We have she was like, so sensei. I forgot his name now. Yeah, I knew who he was. Well, he used to be a police officer, but he changed his career. Okay, cool. So what we want to do is we want to teach some self-defense techniques. you know, because, you know, the students, they got to go to work. So some of them are going to come home late at night, especially the girls. So we want to teach them how to defend themselves if somebody were to attack them. I think that's a great idea. So I used to be in the army.
You're the criminal. Criminal.
So, but I knew she's gonna. I used to be in the army, so I can teach some techniques too, you know. And yeah, she's like, no. And she actually, we want you to jump out from behind the bushes.
Damn.
And then he's going to show how. And I just ignored her and continued what I was saying. So yeah, I got a headlock, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Half Nelson is very, very, you know.
And Corona, y'all. Yeah.
And so finally, I just had to say, you know what? I had time to think.
Oh my God.
I was like, listen, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm an MC. I write poems. So I'm gonna just say a poem. Okay, end of the story. I'm gonna do it solo. You know, well, bang, the bell rings. We gotta leave again. And then so she came back next day.
Damn, this should be an anime or some shit.
Yeah, this is a true story. I'm not making any of this up. Yeah, and you know, you got to keep your wit going. You know, this is an extreme example. Again, Shizuoka, Hamamatsu City, where I'm at, has the highest per capita rate of foreigners, and so they got a real disdain for Brazilians down there. Yeah, so yeah, and I look a lot. The Brazilians, they were thinking I was Brazilian from the dope. You know, they was hitting me with it. But yeah, man, like I said, you gotta save face, and that's the main thing. If you're gonna be here, you have to know how to maneuver and save face as much as possible, really at all times. And you got to become an expert at it, because at the same time, you can't accept the role that they're giving you. So that's a very, very a very thin line. You know, it's a very, very, you know, what's the word?
Thin line. Yep.
You know, it's easy. And don't think I never messed.
Double-edged sword.
I don't think I've never messed. I've definitely, you know, dropped the ball. Well, not really dropped the ball. I fumbled it around, and you know, fumbled it and picked it back up. And had to get down. You know.
Yeah.
So it's not perfect, but you know, hopefully when I write this book about maneuvering through Japan Decoded, Modern Japan Decoded, this is one of the main things I want to go in on. Because I watch a lot of dudes. I'm like, man, you're doing it all wrong, my man. You're going about that all wrong. You know. Yeah, you got any?
No. Yeah, just through our builds, you know, you were right at the crux of when I was making that transition from like, yo, you know, the foreign thing is out, but I don't know what to do from here. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, even though I will say I was probably more of a foreigner, more of a foreigner than you were when I got here, I always try to do my own thing though, and not really try to get in these groups. You know.
Now you sped my progress along, and that's going to be in the book too. Because because I was, you know, I remember like I was doing a lot of the Mendokusai, a lot of some of the trying to fit in. And I'm looking at the relationships that he had, and he's a young dude, and I was like, yeah, man. I'm thinking, you know, I forgot. It probably was Nenkajo, like these.
Nenkajo,
yeah. That was. And I said like as in past, because you have to write. Well, everyone writes these postcards.
New Year's, greetings cards.
It doesn't sound like much until you do it a couple years in a row.
Yeah.
And but then if you do that one, then there's one in the summertime. There's a whole lot of stuff, and they'll keep on increasing this shit on you. You know what I'm saying? And how Japanese you want to be, and and I said it to him, and he was like, "What?" Like it wasn't that he didn't understand what I meant. He was like, "You doing that bullshit?" And I almost was like, "Nah," you know. But I had never even considered not doing it until he said that. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing this shit. Like, you know, I ain't doing it. And I never, you know, I'd like 1 or 2 I might do if it's an important one. But I mean, really, I don't do it at all anymore.
Yeah, it's just like any place like 2 friends, but like there's only so far they're gonna treat you as a Japanese person anyway. You know what I'm saying? I remember this guy was like, "Do you want to switch your passport to Japanese?" I was like, "Hell no, I don't want to switch my passport to Japanese." You know? They're like, "Wow, I thought you wanted to be Japanese." I was like, I never said I want to be Japanese. You're taking it wrong. See, or you're trying to flip it on me. But I was like, kind of bullshit is that? They have a Japanese passport.
But I would say, yeah, I want to be Japanese if that means getting the respect of a Japanese, not necessarily imitating or trying to be somebody I'm not. But to me, that's part of the definition of being Japanese too, in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So getting the respect of a man, yeah. Then if that means Japanese, then yeah. But I mean, in terms of, I need this colored passport or this, that, and the other. That's just mind control. You don't
need the passport to be to get to that level. Yeah.
Yo, one of the main things, like I remember, an Army story. When I was in the Army, when I think I told you, I realized I was in this thing. I was airborne. Airborne's a big privilege in Japan, in the Army. Like you're a paratrooper. You get to wear this fancy beret, and you get these wings on your, and it's really, it is. If you walk around with that, people respect you. I think I wore my BDU top last time, but I remember I was like, I realized I was going to get kicked out the Army because I was in the infantry. I was in the airborne infantry, and it was all white boys, and they ain't like me, and I ain't like them. And it was only a matter of time because they're forming up against me. And the worst thing was, believe it or not, the first night I remember I got there, I met my roommate was like, I asked him, I'm a young dude. I was like, yo, man, what's the female situation like? And he was like, man, trying to get pussy here, get pussy in Fayetteville is like trying to squeeze blood from a rock. Now, I remember because when we were in training, all the brothers, we were like, yo, the whole thing was, when we get the permanent party, it's gonna be cool. We're gonna be women, it's gonna be fun. So we gonna struggle through training, these different training sites. So when I got to my permanent party, and I remember they tried to send me to Kansas, I got that changed. So I had really done some work, and I'm like, I got all the way to a place where that's what you're gonna say to me? And I remember being upset. Man, I went out first night, pulled the chick, brought her back to the barracks, and knocked her down, right? And it was you weren't allowed to bring girls in the barracks. Not really, but that was, it's funny. I told you, I think Spirit uses me for this shit. Because no, actually, when I was in the Army, I was about a non-pussy getting dude. But for this, I guess maybe at least my standards, I don't know. But this night, I remember I pulled this chick, brought her back, and I had to sneak her in the barracks. So these guys, these were a whole bunch, I didn't notice, I'm just meeting these dudes. But it was my first weekend. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, this dude came and got some pussy and boy, had to nerve and didn't get caught. Look, I hit her, got her out. And it was like, they would at least wanted me to get caught. The sergeant came the next day, then they were gossiping. I heard somebody had, word, I don't know who that could be. Wonder who that was, And I think that's why they didn't like me, to be honest with you. But I forgot why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about this?
Yeah, you talk about oh man.
I meant to write that down. Oh, I know why. So I realized if I got rid of this airborne status, I would get out of this unit. And all the brothers lived up the street. I'm like, so if I get rid of these airborne wings, I get to go up the street where all the black people are. I'm gonna get kicked out here, if not beat up or mortally harmed. And that's an easy decision. Once I found out, I'm looking through the rules, finding out how everything works. So I say, I'm terminating my status. That's like a big, you're not
like a letdown.
Yeah, like a sin, like back in the day, they could really do something to you. They would give you bad orders. Even when I went in, the captain was yelling at me, we're gonna send you to Fort something in the swamps in New Orleans, some shit. And we gonna send you to Korea. I remember he said, you gonna send you to Korea? I say, well, that's cool, because I'm half Japanese, I can go. He was mad as shit. And I remember my sergeant said that he was mad. He was like, you were in there, like he put his hand behind his back, like I don't give a fuck. You know, he said, that's what it's good, because that's what I was saying. But I did it with, I saved face. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, they went through the pains of cutting the wings off, like, you know, with a razor blade, because it's sewn on. And they actually took a razor blade, and cut it. And I'm watching them, and I'm like, when you want me to just take it off, so no, because they're trying to traumatize me. But no, I don't give a fuck about these wings. Like, I'm like, yo, I went through the training. I did the training. I passed. I did the 5 jumps, and I've already jumped here. I don't gotta jump ever again. I mean, I'm like, other people's mind control makes them really, really follow this. I'm like, no, I'm qualified.
Okay. I know what you're bringing it back to now. All right, yeah.
And the sickest part about it is when I went up the street, I went into a unit that was just for me, and I had a black CO. And he was like, oh, we need paratroopers here. So if you're willing, we're gonna reinstate your jump status. So they just gave it back, and I had to put it back, and I never took them off my uniform. It was just that one uniform, and I had to get it re-sewed back on. And if you read the book, I don't want to spoil it.
How long was that? How long was that between the two? When they cut the wing, or they're trying to cut the wings out, to they reinstate you with a jump?
Like a couple weeks. As soon as I went there, because I had to do a diagnostic PT test, maybe even less. And I was the strongest dude in the unit. I did like 120 some push-ups.
So you earned the shit, yeah.
Well, when he saw it, because what it was is when I terminated, I told them I have a big scar on my elbow here, and it's really from a motorcycle crash. Shout out to my brother Mick, another dude in the book. He crashed on a motorcycle, but I told them that I did it in a jump. Because I had to have an excuse. Why are you going to terminate? Because I don't think my arm, you know, and it is a long story, but it wasn't the truth. So the captain was like, well, my new captain was like, since it wasn't a jump, yeah, you know, so it's not like you don't want to be a paratrooper. I was like, nah, it's not that. Now that I'm out of that unit, now that I'm out of the 82nd, so now that I'm out of that unit with all them hillbilly white boys, you know, no, it has nothing to do with being a paratrooper. I couldn't tell him the truth. I didn't want to be down there with them. You know what I'm saying? And this Captain Price, he looked me out, man. He definitely looked me out. He hooked the brother up. You know, I was up in that. I went from night to day, man. I was the poster boy in the street. He let me fly a helicopter. I ain't gonna work one day. I'm up here flying around a helicopter with him, man. You know, them dudes in my unit were jealous. You know, but he was looking me out. He was on code. He was looking me out because I was a promising brother to him. He was like, this brother got something. He got, you know, I came there, started going to school, college. Nobody wanted to go to college till I went. Then everybody started wanting to go, you know. Shout out to him, you know. But that goes back to what we're talking about, like even stuff like that, sincerity, and being a hard worker. If you come over here and you want to be respected by Japanese, those two things are very, very important. Japanese respect hard work above almost everything else. Maybe etiquette and manners is up there. But if you don't work hard, if you're not going to work hard, if you're not going to have the appearance of being a hard-working person, you ain't going to get along here.
Right.
They're not going to respect you. They're not going to even like you. You know, because they don't want that to rub off on them. You know?
Yeah, that is, yeah. It's just as important as money. Yep.
And it translates.
Yeah, man.
You know? Yeah. And so I would say that those things.
Yep, I'm sure it does.
You know, when you're trying to make a relationship here in Japan, yeah, the hardworking thing. If you're a hard worker and they see you're a hard worker, if you're making an effort to understand the etiquette, again, these are all the you know, you're going along, but I think you also have to learn where to draw the line, and that's where they're gonna really, you know, that's gonna be the line of where they're gonna respect you or not. You have to have those other things lined up. You have to be a person of worth, of value. But you can have all that. If you don't have that other thing lined up, they're gonna clown you, and they're gonna jeer you, and you ain't gonna never get away from that. You know? Yeah, man, you looking kind of sleepy over there, man. You all right, man? You look kind of sleepy, man. You all right, man?
Yo, man, I'm just sitting here with this bright light in my feet. It looks sleepy, huh?
Yeah, you look sleepy, man.
Yeah, I'm just cooling out, though. I'm all right.
Yeah, for those that don't know, it's 11:30. We went over the hour mark a little while ago, but I didn't say that because I was going into my Army story.
It's all good, man. Yeah.
But I think those are the main. Oh, and by the way, we got a lot of the comments from YouTube, they were going into my junk mail. I just realized that today. So one young lady, she asked us, she was like, go in on some personal stories. I think they want to hear more about what's going on, and actually the stories I'm telling tonight aren't about Japan necessarily, but
no, but they still translate though to Japan.
I think so, yeah.
It was. I mean, the military is almost like Japanese society. So,
and
that's what when you were saying you're going to bring it back, I was like, that's why you're bringing it back. Like, yeah. So it's not like you're not saying it. Get the metaphor.
Yeah, but that Japanese that the wings on the chest. When I was talking about the airborne, cutting the wings off the chest, actually translate a lot of times to the Japanese with their passport. That you what's your kokuseki, citizenship, and that's why who cares?
Right.
I'm here legally. Is that what you're worried about? I'm here legally, so I'm not a criminal. Okay, so after that, I want you to
right.
based on give me the merit, what I deserve. Maybe Japanese are better than me. So if I tell you I'm Japanese, I don't want you to overrate me. How about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can play it. I'm just saying, with the whole passport thing was more as if it's not no wannabe status kind of thing.
Yeah.
I personally don't need a passport because I look at the Japanese passport like I look at the American passport. Just some dumbass book that allows me to move back and forth, with really I wish I could do without.
Piece of paper,
they don't find me at all. I lose my damn passport in my house all the time. So, but if you take that shit seriously, if that's how you use it to define yourself, that's what you need to do. But most of the time when they're saying things like that, they're still playing with you. You know what I'm saying?
Or they
that's all they think.
Yeah. Or when
they don't. That's all they understand. Yeah. You can say like the way I say faces, I'm just like, it's kind of rude to always ask about visas and passports. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like an immigrant. Like, you see me as an immigrant? To people who know me for a while, they're like, no. And I'm like, well, then stop asking me that, man.
Right.
I'm like I don't want to talk about how long I'm going to be here. Are you going to be here forever? Like, use that for somebody who looks like they're leaving. You know what I'm saying? I look like I'm going anywhere.
Before we end, the last thing I think that's important, and this is another thing I think you showed me more than saying it, is it goes with the drawing the line and just being real. Like, of course, you don't want to seem pessimistic or negative, but smiling. Oh, that's real fun. I think it's great. That you're living here every day. You're gonna have. There's got to be a balance to that. And I remember you were the first person. I don't know if I should say it like this, but it's just true. You were the first person that was like that retarded shit. Like, you were like.
Man, I made enough people mad with that shit, man. I'm like, leave that alone.
Yeah, because it's funny, because I remember I was just like, yo, are you serious, man? And then I found myself doing the same, and I didn't latch it to you. And I was like, wait, no way, it's the same. What are you talking about? It's not no different. I'm like, oh, that's why. But you were ahead of me on that, because I was still maybe trying to be too polite, or I wasn't getting it out right. I wasn't really thinking about it correctly. But Japanese people are under a very, I don't know, the mind control here is very, very strong. And I'm just gonna put it to you, like, nobody doesn't believe, if the TV says it, it's God. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, even for example, when we were in the group, when the mayor invited us to the office and we appeared on the news, After that, we got paid 5 bills. I got paid 5 bills. My boy got paid 5 bills every time we walked in a place. And some of the places, yeah, like 30, like 20 p. I'm like, yo,
Not
I know
enough,
they
not
make the
even
money
enough
back.
to cover the cost. Yeah.
Make the money back. But it was like,
Yeah.
it was set. No, now you're official. The TV, you were on TV, you were in the news, it's official. And I was like, wow, it was like night and day. It was like night and day again. And so yeah, if you get endorsed here by the right folk, I mean, you're in. You are in. You know what I'm saying? So part of that is, again, knowing where to draw the line. And just to show you, this isn't just Japanese people. I had a dude I knew, he told me when he got married, he told me that, like, you know, he went to his in-laws' house and his wife's brother was trying to play him. Was playing him to the left a little bit and kept on, I forgot exactly what he was doing, but he's like, yo, he told him to stop. The guy wouldn't stop. He kept doing it. Guy maybe was touching him or poke something, but he said, so he walked away, got him into a different room, and he knew the guy was going to do it again. And when he did it, he just stole on him. And this is a Japanese dude. He went to school in the States, so he knew how to fight a little bit. And he said, I punched him in the face. And I was like, you punched him in the face? He was like, yeah. And that dude, he didn't really know what to do. He didn't expect him to do that, but there was no problem after that. Now, I am not suggesting that you punch anyone in the face, because fighting over here is different. I'm not saying don't do it either, but I just want to make sure don't have me in the picture. I'm just saying draw the line. I've never had to punch anybody in the face. I slapped a couple people. You know what I'm saying? I kicked the dude's bike yesterday, but you know what I'm saying? But you got to know where to draw the line. You got to know where to draw the line, and the key thing though is understanding the code. And if you want to know more about the code, please check out www.afroasiatic.jp. I have an article called Analyzing the Yamato Code. I think it's maybe 2 editions back. Analyzing the Yamato Code, and I break down.
Right. Remember that one.
You know what I'm saying? You have to understand the code.
Yep. Very important.
And if you're going to draw the line, you know, you got to draw your line. And like I said, he punched that dude in the face, man. You know, even like I said, what Sterling was talking about, even the whole don't speak to me in English, that's drawing the line. You know, drawing the line. I'm like, nah, like we talked about earlier. Just hey, Robert Sensei, or Robert San, or Gaijin San, and not accepting that. But if you get mad about it and say, then that's some Gaijin shit to do right there too. I'm not saying if that's the way you do it, maybe that's the way you have to do it in the beginning. But if you're
getting emotional doesn't help at all. Yeah, it's like screaming at a woman, being like, "I'm a man.
Yeah,
I'm a man. God damn it!"
Yeah. Breaking the tables and shit.
Yeah.
You know,
you gotta treat me like a man.
yeah. It's gonna get you about that far. It's gonna get you about.
Yeah, we'll talk about the retarded thing another time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna end this, man. Yeah, man. Another thing, if you're coming here, and you want to learn how to teach, and I'm gonna be honest with you, sir. I never forgot to say this. I think that some people have been asking me, we should start maybe even, especially you guys over there, you should teach Japanese lessons to brothers coming over here.
No doubt.
You know.
Yep.
I think we could.
Every brother I meet who come over here ain't trying to learn that at all.
Really?
You trying to learn Japanese?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But who knows? You know, it depends on who you meet, I guess. You know, but most brothers I meet over here is barely any eye contact going on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. On that note,
I ain't come here to see you. Yeah.
But I'm hoping we're gonna attract some alphas. Hopefully even via this platform, and yeah, because I said, like, you know, some of them, maybe I should start sharing some of the positive feedback I'm getting.
I'm not on Facebook or none of that, y'all. I mean, I am, but it's usually my staff that's doing it. So don't think it's messages from me. That's why the majority of it's in Japanese.
Yeah,
I'm not a social media guy yet, but I'm getting on it. Likes, thumbs up, all that, man.
Yeah, so subscribe. Yeah. Thumbs up. Give us, please. give us some feedback. We want some feedback. Let us know what and topics. What do you want to know about Japan? From the mind Afro-Asiatic, in the Real Talk Forum, the minds of Afro-Asiatic people, Black people. What do you want to know? That we have a plethora of experience and things to share with you.
Oh, dude.
All right. So where can they reach you, man, to get at you?
RealTalkEnglish.jp. Email. You can just hit me up, man. Just go RealTalkEnglish.jp. You'll find me. And my YouTube channel, which is also Real Talk English.
Real Talk English. Remember, Real Talk.
Yeah.
Just like, please remember Afro-Asiatic. My name, Takuan Amaru. You can just Google it. My stuff should come up. TakuanAmaru@gmail.com. Takuan Amaru on Facebook. Get at me. And of course, Gaikokujin-the story. It's gaikokujin-the-story.com. But again, you can just Google that too. During this Corona time, you got some reading time. It's on Kindle. You can get a hard copy. Probably you should make an audio book. Hopefully that'll be happening sooner than later. Talk to me about that. Right now, there's no format for that yet. If you have that, if you know how to do that, get at me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can make it happen. Make it lucrative for both of us. Especially if you have a following. If you have a following that looking for someone that has an audiobook following. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, we really appreciate your support and tuning in, and we hope to build the platform up more. What you got to say,
sir?
All right. All right.
Then.
All right.
Peace. I got to say, yeah.